Now we will start the second technical session on PMFME guidelines, FSI, packaging, and DPR outlook. So for this, I would like to invite Dr. Sivya Sinija ma'am, Professor and Head SPABIC, Neptune Sanjavur, and PMFME Coordinator. I would like quickly to introduce you ma'am to you. She did PhD and MTech for post-harvest engineering degree in agriculture and food engineering from the prestigious college, Indian Institute of Technology, Kharagpur. She was awarded with the National Doctoral Fellowship by AICT, Delhi, for carrying out her research work. She has 15 years of teaching and research experience in the field of food processing. Her research works have been published as papers in more than 50 peer journal reviews, 11 popular articles, 4 book chapters, and more than 75 national and international conference proceedings, and many more. As the head of the Food Processing Business Incubation Center, she has coordinated more than 250 skill development training programs on daily basis. 97 budding entrepreneurs have successfully set up the food processing business through the skill development program and continental service of FPBIC. Thank you so much, ma'am, for accepting our invitation. The session is over to you, ma'am.
Whether my slides visible, Priya?
No, ma'am, it's a website is visible. PPT is not visible, ma'am.
So, good afternoon, everyone. I won't be taking much time. Quickly, I will go through the scheme guidelines because almost everybody now aware about the scheme. So, this is the main objective of this PMFME scheme. First one is to increase the access to credit by existing micro food processing entrepreneurs, farmer producer organizations, as well as self-help groups and cooperatives. Then second objective is like to increase the access for the enterprises for the professional as well as the technical support. Like that is why we are offering these capacity building activities like different levels of trainings, webinars, awareness programs, etc. to make the micro entrepreneurs aware about what are the recent developments in this sector, in the processing sector or packaging, or what are the new regulations coming to our country or for the export, all these technical upgradation, and then strengthening of the institutions, research as well as training institutions in the food processing sector, like various institutes are having incubation centers or training centers, and these micro enterprises may make use of these facilities for upgrading their business, and by strengthening the institutes by giving them common facilities so that the nearby enterprises can make use of these facilities, and then increased access to the common services like common laboratories, common processing facilities, common storage facilities, and marketing opportunities. Like in this scheme is having a very peculiar objective like marketing and branding support for the enterprises, micro enterprises, as well as the individual beneficiaries. I'll be telling about that one. And so finally, with overall upgradation, in terms of skill as well as in terms of credit access to the finance, upgradation of the existing 2 lakh micro enterprises, and also upgradation of skill for the laborers or the workforce in this micro food processing enterprises. So the scheme initially it was concentrating on this one district, one product approach to make the local products more visible, and also to have the national as well as international market for this local products. But now this is not strictly on this ODOP approach, because any entrepreneur who is doing other than ODOP of that district can also avail the benefits of this scheme. Now this scheme started with a total outlay of 10,000 crores for 5 years. As I mentioned in the morning, started in the year 2021, and this will be ending by 24-25. So the sharing pattern is like it's a collaborative scheme with the central as well as the state and union territory governments. So the funding contribution, it's like for northeastern states, 90% funding will be from the central government and 10% will be by the state share. And for other states, it is 60-40. And for northeastern states, 10% of this total budget is earmarked. And also there will be a separate budget for the minority communities for upgrading their skills for the various capacity building activities. And also there is support for the farmer producer organizations, self-help members, as well as the cooperatives, provision for common services for them also. So what are the benefits of this scheme? This is a very good scheme which is offering upgradation of individual micro food processing enterprises as well as the groups by providing credit linked subsidy of 35%. For individuals, it is like maximum limit is there, like 10 lakh rupees you will get as a subsidy. For example, if you are submitting a project cost around 30 lakhs, then in that 35% will be government subsidy, like you will get nearly 10 lakhs maximum for the subsidy, then remaining 3%, like 10% of the total project cost, that means 3 lakhs you can put as your own share, and then the remaining 17% you can avail as a term loan from the bank where you are approaching. Okay. Whereas in the case of these groups, like there is no ceiling like 10 lakhs. Based on their previous year's annual turnover, you can apply for even crores project also. Okay. And then another attractive feature of this scheme is the seed capital amount of 40,000 rupees for individual members in a self-help group. So this will be like those self-help groups which are listed under this National Rural Livelihood Mission or state level rural livelihood mission. Those SSGs are eligible for availing this scheme. Apart from this seed capital, they can also go for the other benefits of the scheme, like common centers. They can also, if a group is doing some business, they can also apply for that 35% subsidy loan and all. Then as I mentioned earlier, the important feature, like 50% grant is giving for marketing and branding of your product. This is like state-wise we are offering through the state nodal agency. You can apply for this marketing and branding support. This is a very good opportunity. Most of the enterprises are facing this problem because of the lack of proper marketing as well as branding for their products. And then support for establishing the common infrastructures like common incubation centers. Here 100% funding will be there for establishing the incubation center if it is a government institute or government organization. But that scheme already, that common incubation center already sanctioned more than 100 schemes across our country. So now for the time being that scheme, that part of that segment is closed. Okay. Now the pattern of assistance, like new entrepreneur who's wanted to start something in this food processing area or existing entrepreneurs who are already into the business, both of you can apply for this scheme benefits. Like ODOP, I mentioned previously it was based on the ODOP, but now it is not based on ODOP. Anybody can apply this one. Online application is available in the ministry website. This is the website where you can go for this online application with your Aadhaar number. You can just log in and then you can submit whatever required project details. You need to prepare a detailed project report for your loan application. For that also, we are having lot of assistance. I will be telling about these things in the coming slides. And then I mentioned earlier, like that 35%. So the age limit is 18 years and above. Those who completed 18 years, they can go for this support. And there is no educational qualification required. And this already I told these benefits. So then how to apply? So individuals, they can directly online application, they can put up on the PMFME portal in the ministry website. Then if you are a group, then that group can apply offline. Like they can send, they can prepare the project proposal and then send it directly to our ministry. And for the marketing branding support, actually it should be through the state nodal agency. Here also online application is available for marketing and branding. After preparing the DPR, you can get it approved from the SNA, and then through the state nodal agency, you can apply for the marketing and branding. Now, one of the most important component of this PMFME scheme is the capacity building activities, that is strengthening the technical as well as entrepreneurial knowledge of our micro food processing enterprises, entrepreneurs, as well as the staff who are working in their micro enterprises. So we are giving capacity building trainings at various levels. One is in the food processing level, like what are the latest machineries which they can use, what are the latest technologies, how they can go for the value addition, then how they can check for the product quality, packaging options, what are the available there, latest packaging options to enhance the shelf life. All these things will be covered. And in the entrepreneurship development trainings, they will be trained about the business opportunities, how to prepare DPR, how to develop their skills for management of finance, how to go for various licensing like FSSAI license or Udyami other registrations, then what are the regulations available. All these things will be covered in the entrepreneurship development training activity. So it will be a combination of your business aspects as well as the processing aspects. So live classes also will be there, online sessions will be there, demonstrations will be there. All these are included in this capacity building activities. And mainly the training activities will be a 3-tier system. First, the state nodal agency will be nominating the master trainers from their state under these various disciplines or various segments of food processing, like fruits and vegetable, grain, milk, fat, spices, bakery, minor forest, like that. So we will be giving an intensive training to these master trainers, who will in turn train their respective district level trainers in their state. Okay, so this district level trainers or the district resource persons also will come under this one, and they, after obtaining the training and certified as the trainers, they will be training the beneficiaries or the actual micro enterprises in their respective regions. Each district will be having district resource persons. Okay, so these district resource persons are the key persons in this scheme. Each district, one resource person, 1 or 2 resource persons, depending upon the availability. And in our website as well as the ministry website, all the details of these district resource persons along with their email and phone numbers are available. So they will be helping you in preparing these applications, submitting this application, availing the bank loan, all those things. And for hand-holding you to avail the benefit of this PMFME scheme, this district resource persons will be getting a honorarium of 20,000 rupees per each sanctioned project. Okay, so you need not pay any money to the district resource persons. They will be paid from this project. So you can make use or make the help of these district resource persons for availing this scheme benefits. So the role of district resource persons, like as I mentioned earlier, they will be helping the applicant in filing the application, then for sanctioning the loan from the bank also, and then they will help you in training as well as formalization of your enterprises, like after doing all the registrations, whatever required, suppose FSSAI or GST or Udyogata, whatever things you need, they will be helping you in all these aspects. For that only, this honorarium of 20,000 will be given for this district resource persons. Okay, so for entrepreneurship development training also same thing. First, we will be training the master trainer from the state, then master trainer will train the district resource persons as well as the district level trainers, and then they will be in turn giving the training to the final beneficiaries of this scheme. Okay, and then this is like a training details, this not of your interest, and this is like eligibility for this district level trainers, master level trainers and all, that is not at all required for you people. And the beneficiary training also, like classroom trainings are available, like hands-on training is available, and also online trainings are also available. And then there will be a district nodal officer who will be visiting or validating these trainings, how they are conducting these trainings, and they will be updating it to the state level nodal agency as well as the state level district resource person also. So for more access or for more benefit of the beneficiaries, we at NIFTM Tanjavur, we are having a separate portal for this PMFME. This is the portal, like if you can go to directly our NIFTM Tanjavur website from Google, and then there on the right hand corner, there will be a tab PMFME. So if you click on the tab, you will be getting all these options like this is the web portal. Here you will be having all the details. How many master trainers are trained so far in each discipline, their details you can get here. Similarly, how many district level trainers, their details. Then how many district resource persons, with all their details, it is available. And if you see here, you can see the training material ODOP. Okay, so these are the various segments under which different training materials are uploaded. If you see fruits and vegetable processing, juice, flakes, jam, jelly, tutti frutti, so many items are uploaded. Okay, if you click on any one of these you can see here the PowerPoint presentations in different languages, demonstration video for preparing that guava juice, then PPT on packaging, PPT on food safety and FSSAI regulations for that particular product. And also you can see here a model DPR. This model DPR, all these things you can download freely, you can view that one, and there is a reading material also about that process. This DPR you can simply download by giving your name, email as well as the phone number, and then you can customize this one based on your request. Okay, so in that way a lot of products are uploaded under each and every category. So you can make use of these materials for getting the knowledge about that process technology, or what is the packaging guidelines, or what are the reading materials. All these things you can get to know from this. Just a minute. Okay, so this is the website, our website. Then apart from that, there is one more option, like somebody was asking during the session whether we can get the recorded version of these videos. So here you can see this ODOP webinar material. So whatever webinars we have conducted so far, the recorded version of all these webinars are available. So today's webinar also will be posting like that. So those who cannot attend this webinar today, they can later on view this one also. Okay. Now the next component of this PMFME scheme is the creation of incubation center. But as I mentioned earlier, this this segment has been closed now, and so far we have sanctioned more than 100 incubation centers across the country on various processing lines, and these incubation centers can be utilized by the neighboring micro enterprises. Since it is closed, I am not going to explain this one, because now you cannot apply for this establishment of common incubation centers also. But the thing is that I mentioned earlier, like PMFPI, Ministry of Food Processing Industries website is there. So for availing the benefits, you can go to that website and do the online application form. Like I will just show you how the site will be. Yeah. This is actually the website for the groups, like a farmer producer groups. And you can, here also you can see the list of state nodal agencies, list of district nodal points, contact details of resource persons, All these details are available in ministry website also. So anybody who wanted to make use of this scheme, you can first approach your district resource person, and through him you can make use of our website also for making the DPR, and then you can submit the DPR. In each district there will be a committee chaired by the district collector, and they will be scrutinizing this application. And then if you are eligible, then below 10 lakhs project means there itself it will be sanctioned and you will be getting the intimation. But if the project is above 10 lakhs means it will be going to the next level committee, that is the state level committee, it will be going. And then if it is more than 10 lakhs means, then after the state level recommendation, it will go for the national level, like ministry recommendation also. For the branding, marketing, like that high costing gold projects, it will be going for that state level and national level recommendation also. Okay, so here you can do the login. Just for a trial purpose, I'll show you one login option. If you are using it for the first time, then you can create an account by clicking on this sign up button to create an account. Okay, here you can click, then give your Aadhaar number and then phone number, then email also. Then you can create your account and then you will get the login details. After getting the login details, you can sign up using this link. Yeah, this is the online application portal. Here already guidelines and instructions are there on the left hand side. Then application details, if you already submitted means your application details will come here. Then you can download that details also. This one is, I told you earlier, this is for the farmer producer company, that group application. So you can see here name of the farmer producer company, name of that promoting institute, if anything, and all these details you can fill it up and then you can submit. And this is very simple steps. All the DRPs will help you in doing this all formalities for the online application. So my humble request is a very good scheme which can be utilized by all our micro level food processing enterprises who are already existing, and also for the aspiring entrepreneurs who would like to start, they can also make use of this scheme. So thank you very much.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for giving us such a good information. Now we are proceed with the next technical section, which is on banking and financial assistance, detailed project report, DPR, preparation to micro enterprises. Now we would like to invite Dr. T. Senthil, Manager of State Bank of India, Administrative Office, Trichy. He has more than 12 years of experience as a commercial banking professional and specialized in rural banking and schematic loan products and rural microcredit. He conducted more than 193 seminars, workshops, training for the farmers and also for the other bank officers dealing in agri-financing for bringing about the awareness of new technology, and published various journals and articles related to dairy science and technology. He was awarded as a young scientist by the Department of Science and Technology at Anna University, Chennai. I welcome you, sir, and thank you so much for accepting our invitation. The session is over to you, sir.
Yes, good afternoon to all. Once again, I thank to Niftam Tanjavur for the opportunity given to me. On behalf of State Bank, I extend my grateful thanks to Niftam Tanjavur. I congratulate all the participants who are participating in the webinar. Okay, today's Jackfruit processing and value additions. Before we are going to see the banking schemes, what are the schemes available for Jackfruit processing and value additions? Before that, we can able to see, we need to submit a proposals. We need to submit a project for the getting any financial aid through the bank or any financial institutions. For that, we need to prepare a project report. Detailed project report is a very must. So before we are going to submit or before we are going to enter into any business, we need to decide how we are how we can prepare the project report for the business group. First thing, you should know what is the business you are going to do. Suppose for the jackfruit business means processing business or cultivations or unless in the marketing or trading. So you have to decide what we are going to do. First, this is the first step. Then what is the project cost? Okay, then for whether the individual is doing the proposals project or whether you are doing it in your partnership or as a private limited companies like that, how to decide how you are starting your proposal or projects. Is a single or in a partnership or as a private limited company or in a public limited companies. First, you have to decide how you are starting the proposal or projects. It's the first thing. Within the applicant, you have to write the details of your promoter's details. The first column itself, who are you? Okay, what is the experience you are having? Already, suppose if you are having any experience in the line of activity, you have to mention it. Suppose you are attending any training program, you have acquired knowledge in this business earlier. Okay, these are all the parameters you have to mention. Suppose if there is any banking, any financial institution, they will see whether the promoter is having the sufficient knowledge in this activity or not. So you have to mention in the about the applicant details in elaborately. Or otherwise the bank doesn't know whether the applicant or the promoter is having the sufficient knowledge or not like that. So within the about the applicant column, you should mention the entire details where you are living, what you are doing, and what is the experience you are having in this line of activities. Okay. Then what is the activity you are going to do? What is the activity or name of the activity? Suppose jackfruit processing means you have to clearly indicate the project name. This is a trading activity or processing activities or any or cultivations. Suppose jackfruit cultivation means that activity name should be elaborate. Okay, this is a eye-catching point like that. That activity should be mentioned very clearly and eye-catching. Then what is the objectives? Suppose if you are starting the proposal or business means, what is the outcome of the proposals? Who are all the benefits? Okay, like that you have to mention in that and about the activities. Suppose the jackfruit or any other business, if you are starting this business, who are all benefited apart from you, even that in the local area where you are starting that process, the local area will get the benefit, that employment. These are all the employment we will do. I will uplift the rural I will uplift the rural peoples. I will give the employment to the rural generations. Like that, you have to mention that what is the outcome of these proposals apart from your income earning. Apart from your earnings, you have to mention in that proposals what is the benefit will get the entire country or in your localities, rural peoples. Then why you are going to start these proposals? Why you are starting this proposal? Suppose in your area, there is lot of availability of jackfruits. So none of the processing unit is available, or none of the cultivation is available, or none of the trading is available. Means you have to you have to mention in this proposal, in this column, what is the importance of these proposals. Then activity locations, where you are going to start. Suppose the cultivation is one place. Suppose you are doing operation or you are putting you are having the plan to implement the proposals in some other area means it will have some contraindications. So wherever the cultivation, wherever the raw material is available, there is a suggestion. You go for in that place itself. That it will take a lot of advantages for that proposals because it will reduce the loss of cost, loss of operational costs in your projects. So that wherever the raw material is available, you have to choose your place accordingly. Whether it is the site is, whether it is a own place or if it is a lease. If it is a lease, means that the lease agreement should be registered. That lease agreement should be registered in the register office. Okay, suppose the repayment period is 5 years, you should be registered in 7 years. Okay, beyond 2 years, it should be registered. If it is a own land, okay, nothing to worry. within the own line means, because always the preferable you should start your own business within your own, because that bank is investing. Okay, how to create the infrastructure in the banking finance. Okay, suppose there is any problem in the lease land, at that time maybe the erected buildings or machinery should be replaced to some other place. Suppose if there is any lease agreement, it should be in pakka manner. Okay, then the site, one more thing, the site should be wherever the business or factory is erected, that site should be reachable to the transport facilities. Okay, it should not be away from the road, main road, or in the local road or panchayat road anyway. It should be easily reachable to the market areas, or you should bring easily the raw materials to your factory. Then, apart from that, whether the all the raw materials, that means the forward linkage is available. You should ensure that forward linkage is water is available, or EB is available, labor is available. Okay, either the marketing facility is available in your factory area. These are all the things you have to consider before you are selecting the locations. Okay, that should be mentioned in the proposals in the DPR, detailed project report, where you are going to start with the survey, pakka survey number including. Okay, you have to mention it. Then what is the proposed project? Suppose if you are having 2 acres of land, how much area of land is required for this proposal? Whether the entire land is needed, or is only 1 acre or 0.5 acres is needed. So it should be mentioned. What is the break? Okay, that break should be given in the proposals in the DPR. Then what are the machineries? What is the size of the structures you are going to bring? 5,000 square feet or 2,000 square feet? Where is the processing hall? Where should be the stocking area? Where is the lab? Okay, this all before you are planning your factory design. Okay, it should be contain all the factory primary and secondary processing areas, including the storage. Once the raw material is incoming into a factory, it should be going out with storage. Then all the facilities you should consider, you should get a pakka plan design with the local, over the valuers or engineers available. Based on the help, you should prepare, and it should be approved by the local authorities. It must, okay, within the approval column or approval number, approval date, who is approved in your design. Okay, it should be mentioned in the proposals. Then, some license should be needed. Before you are starting your proposal or business, you should cover about your business, because suppose the processing activity needed some approvals or license needed from the government side. Okay, that what are the licenses required, whether you are obtained. Some of the licenses are to be obtained before you are starting your business. Some of the licenses are to be obtained after your business is running. Of commercial operation started, that time you need to get the operation, get the license. So this should be needed, should be mentioned in the proposals. What are the approvals or license needed? It should be obtained or it should be yet to obtain. That category that should be clearly indicated in your DPR. Then what are the backward linkages? Where you are going to market? Okay, marketing is the most important thing. So suppose once your produce is ready, you need to go into market the product. Where you are going, whether it is easily available or easily reachable to your from your factory to market yard or area. So it should be mentioned where you are going to market, whether the traders are coming into your place or you are going to market the place. Okay, it should be mentioned. Then manpower. What are the manpowers? How many manpower is required in the processing or cultivations or in trading activities? What are the manpower? How many persons are needed to labor engagement? Okay, how many persons are needed? How we are giving the salary? It should be mentioned. Suppose the skilled labor or managers or in the semi-skilled or daily wages. How many persons are needed? How you are managing? Whether it's locally available or you are going to go to somewhere else. Okay, it should be mentioned elaborately. Then backward, apart from the SWOT analysis, what is the strength? What is the weakness? What is the opportunities and threats available in your projects? Suppose the project is located in the raw material available place, means that is a strength. Suppose you are having that experience, that is a strength. Okay, that you are creating the employment generation, that is a strength. What are all the weakness? Suppose there is any suppose for bird flu, for jackfruit business, there is any chemical adulterations. Okay, what are the weakness available should be mentioned in the proposals, and what are the opportunities? Suppose the value additions. And today I am closing this jackfruit processing plant, and tomorrow it may be a next level. Okay, what is the opportunities available for you? And threats, there is any threat is available for your business. Okay, these are all the areas you have to mention. And apart from that, the technical parameter. The technical parameters is the most important thing. Already I told you, what is the project cost? Suppose the 1 crore or 2 crores of project, the entire proposal will come under the 2 crores means or 1 crore. Let's take the 1 crore. Okay, the entire project cost is 1 crore, excluding the land cost. Always the bankers will not consider the land cost. Okay, they will not finance for the land. Unless until that either the housing loan or farming. Suppose you are going to construct any farmland or office building, it should be included in the proposal, or otherwise they will not consider the for purchasing of land. Okay, suppose you are going to purchase the already ready-made building with the land, that building you can acquire, that land you can acquire by finance, bank finance. Suppose you are going to start a new business, the bank will not be finance for the land. Land should be the own land or it should be a lease land. Okay, suppose your project cost is 1 crore means within that, what you can add it. What is the necessary items? Land and building. Land is excluded for this proposal. And what are the buildings? Okay, you are going to construct with valued or any engineers. Okay, any locally available engineers, you can get the civil estimate. That civil estimate is the most important thing. It reflects what is the how much cost. Okay, that building. What are the structures you are
Sorry
going to
to
erect?
interrupt you, sir. So your slide is not moving.
What, ma'am?
So your presentation is not moving.
Okay. Slide, ma'am?
Yeah, it's just prepared.
I
for
didn't.
DPI.
I didn't move. Didn't move. Okay. Within that cost, you can add in what is the necessary items you want. Okay. The entire building structure, office structure, even the road, internal road formation, everything you can add it in the building cost. Okay. Then machinery. Second thing is the machineries. The entire machinery cost, even that reception to the marketing, what are the machineries who are needed? You should get the pakka quotation from the suppliers. That machinery you have to add it in the DPR. Okay. Then suppose if you are going to pay to the deposit amount of the EB means the deposit receipt, you have to attach the deposit receipt to the bank of again the receipt, you can get that amount also. Then suppose that 2% or 5%, you can increase or decrease your project cost. Okay, at the time of implementation, that also you can add it in your proposals. Suppose your project cost is 1 crore means your margin is 25% or whichever is lower or higher side based on the schemes. Suppose any government sponsored schemes means it may be a 10% or 15% or 20 or 23. Apart from that scheme, normally the bankers will fix that margin amount. Margin amount, it may be margin amount you should show in your proposals. How you have got your margin amount, whether it is from already, suppose you are invested in that land, already you start. Okay, the margin amount should be went to the suppliers or it should be shown in your papers. How you have brought the margin and how you are sending to the margin. Okay, who you are sending, you should give some evidence. Okay, that any project, your margin should be there. Apart from that, bank finance. Suppose for 25%, the margin is 25%. For the 1 crore proposal means 75% is the bank finance and 25% is your margin. Suppose in case somebody told me, sir, this proposal is eligible under a subsidy scheme. That means that subsidy amount, maybe you can treat it as your margin. Even the government sponsored schemes also, they will take some minimum margin, at least 10%. Apart from your subsidy amount, the government will fix minimum 10% of margin. So you have to bring your margin amount. For that, you have to give your clear indications how you have brought your margins, whether it should be in the fixed deposit or your character structures already. And repayment period. The repayment, suppose before that they will give some the gestation period. Once the loan is sanctioned, they will give some gestation period for the activity commercial productions. Okay, for the implementation of your proposals. Normally, the repayment period minimum, it depends upon the activity what you are going to do. Maybe minimum 5 years to 11 years is that for the housing industry. Maximum, it may be restricted. Bankers will restrict maximum 7 years, not beyond that. Some of the activities will go beyond 11 years. Then, those who are initially starting your proposals, you need not worry about the interest rate. Suppose if you have grown in your business, you can worry about the interest rate. Normally, that sponsored schemes, all the sponsored schemes, government itself given some interest subsidy. For the housing activity, you can get the minimum within 10%. All the bankers, maybe the 0.25% or 0.5% or 1%. It may be vary from bankers, from banks to bank. Normally, that the housing activity, they will restrict within 10%. Within the some of the schemes, you can get some interest subsidy also. Within the financial analysis, you have to mention that the entire data, what are the data is available. Okay, that apart from that, bankers will do CRA and CMA. Based on that viability only, they will sanction the loan. Okay. Okay, these are all the steps. These are all the things you have to consider before you are preparing your projects report. Normally, in that field, lot of auditors are available to prepare this report. But they will charge the amount. Normally, they will charge 1% or 2% of the project cost. Suppose 1 crore means they will charge accordingly. Okay, you have to avoid it. If you want any help, you can call me and I can tell you how you can prepare the report. This maybe depends upon the proposal. It may be very only small things, or otherwise that things will be normal. Okay, that DPR is the most important thing because the banker doesn't have the knowledge about a particular activity. They can able to do the processing and other things. They can able to sanction the loan, but they doesn't have the sufficient knowledge in the business. So you have to elaborate what you are going to do. Sir, this is the activity, this is the income, this is the profit. From this, I can pay. This is the my repayment amount. Okay, this is the what is your break-even point? When you will get the break-even point? These are all the things. Before you are going to start the proposal, you go and check with the branch manager. Sir, I am going to do this proposals and you have to support me. These are all the advantages we are having. These are all the disadvantages I am having. You please rectify, and what else you need, you please get the checklist. Based on that, you have to prepare your report. Okay? Okay. These are all the things. If you want anything, you please clarify me in that message. Then, steps involve the loan processing. You are prepared the entire DPR. Now your DPR is ready. Okay. Now, suppose you are going to submit to the bank. The bankers will first, they will check the CIBIL report based on your Aadhaar and PAN card and mobile number. They will check your CIBIL status. For agri activity, you need not worry about the CIBIL score. Okay, you need not worry about for CIBIL score for the calculation purpose. Suppose if you are doing any processing activity or trading activities, means the CIBIL score is important. It should be minimum 650, or it should not be default in any bank, any financial institution. You should not be default. Suppose if you are availing any loan from any financial institution, should be in the pakka. In the normal repayment should be in the normal way. It should not be any write-off. Okay, the bankers will check your CIBIL status, whether it's a normal or if there is any abnormal. There is normal means they will take it to the further steps. Okay, if there is any abnormal, there is any default is there in your civil means, even now that the GRIP report, it will reflect even that the SHG loan status. Suppose if you are getting any loan from cooperative banks, okay, even that any dues in the credit cards, it will reflect. Even the credit card prepayment, if it is any default means the bank will not consider. We need to get the on approval from your sanction authority. So that civil report is the most important thing. So you have to maintain your civil score. Then you have to submit your applications, DPR proposal through either online or through in person to the branch manager. The branch manager will go through that your project report. Based on that, they will ask some documents. Suppose where you are going to construct the building, that building should be the primary property. Okay, in any stage, that primary property should be given to mortgage to the bank. Wherever you are getting the loan, that primary property should be mortgaged to the bank. Suppose if you are getting any loan from any scheme, you need not give any collateral, but primary is must. Apart from that, all records, certificates, and the approval should need to be submitted to the bank. Okay, that is the license. Okay, that's actually license. What you are getting from the appropriate authority, you have to submit to the bank. And that all things you have to give it to the bank in the Xerox copy only. Copied. Okay. Need not to worry about the original, we need not to submit. Only the project report should be original. After your submission of papers, the bankers will come for the pre-sanction inspections. In person, they will come, whether the field officers or branch manager will come for the field inspection, whether what are the status in the DPR, they will check whether you are having that land, whether the EB is available, whether the road is reachable, whether that transport facility is available, okay, water facilities available, labor facility, the entire thing they will analyze it at the time of pre-sanction inspections. That's why that while preparing that PPR, you should be very careful. You need not give any omission or deletions or extra thing you do not mention. Okay. Within the pre-sanction inspection itself, the bankers will satisfy. Whether they will satisfy means they will take it to the next step for the sanction, for the processing. If they will not satisfy, means they will reject the proposal, then in that itself. Okay. Now the next step is the legal and valuations. I told you that primary land should be given mortgage to the bank. For the primary, or there is needed for the collateral means for that collateral and primary property should be legally vetted by the empaneled lawyers and the value engineers. Okay. If there is any lacuna, there is any problematic valuations or legal report is coming to the bank means they will not sanction the loan. Okay. After that, after getting that entire papers document, they will start the processing of your loan. The loan will be sanctioned in the terms of term loan. Term loan for the creation of infrastructure. Okay. Then CC, working capital limit will be day-to-day operations. Okay. The proposal should be contain both term loan and CC. Suppose if you are doing any foreign trading activities, foreign exchange, means you can get any bank guarantee also or any LC. Based on that activity, based on that your business, you can get extra sanction. Extra means other facilities also available, bank guarantee, LC also. Then after sanction, the documentation will happen at the bank place, branch. Okay, where you are going got the loan. Within the branch, the documentation will be carried out. After documentation, the deductions and the processing of your processing charges and the inspection charges and other charges will be deducted. Then your first disbursement will be happen after documentations. Okay, after disbursement, they will give the period of gestation. It depends upon the activity. 3 months or 6 months, immediately after the disbursement also, some of the trading activity will start. The repayment will start. Okay. These are the type of financial facilities, term loan and CC, working capital, demand loan, and electronic credit and bank guarantee. I want to tell you one thing. You need not worry about what are the schemes available in the bank. Actually, in SBA, we can propose the schemes, what are the schemes or what are the activities you are going to do. Based on that, we will design the product. I'm telling about that our bank. State Bank will design the product based on the customer's need. Apart from that, existing schemes is available. Okay. So normally that all government sponsored schemes is we will implement. All the government sponsored schemes will be implemented by the State Bank. One of these is AAF, Agriculture Infrastructure Fund. This is a Varaprasam. We can tell this is a Varaprasam for the those who are doing the primary processing activity or those who are doing the value additions. Those who are ignoring the value additions, this is one of the most important schemes available in all the banks. I think so, all the nationalized banks. The scheme is introduced by the government of India. Within that, all the FPOs, even that individuals, private limited company, even that SHGs also, they can get the benefit. Under section 8 companies, MSME, okay, sector, all are eligible under these categories, under these schemes. Okay, in these schemes, up to 2 crores, the loan is without subsidy, without collateral securities. Even that they are offering some 2% or 3% of interest subvention also under the scheme. Okay, 3% of interest subvention is available. The interest subvention is available only for 5 years, not more than that. Suppose your repayment period is 7 years, they can restrict the interest subvention up to for only 5 years. Okay, and apart from that, in this scheme, the major advantage is that any processing related, your concerned department is giving any subsidy means you can get your subsidy from the capital subsidy. I am telling about the capital subsidies available means you can get it from your direct department. What is the activities involved in that? For sericulture, suppose that the Jackfruit department itself, they will offer some goods processing department or marketing department. Suppose they are offering any AMA department, marketing department, they will offer for a capital subsidy for construction of rural roads. Okay, that also you can get it under the schemes. This is one of the most important schemes available for FPOs, and lot of FPOs they are available loans under the schemes. Even the individuals. Okay, those who are involved in the primary processing and value addition process. These are the activities. The supply chain, warehouse, silos, pack house, and processing units, sorting and grading units, gold chain, logistic facilities. Suppose if you want any transport facilities, gold chain, or any transport, suppose your raw material transportation or your finished goods transported to one place to another place. If you need any logistic support means you can avail separately under this AF scheme. And primary processing center also. Any finance, any activity, any business, you need some working capital. Apart from that term loan, this is the example I given AF. Apart from the AF, we are extending the loan based on the activities. Okay, in the name of term loan. Okay. Then working capital. Second one is you need working capital. Working capital means day to day to run the day-to-day operations in any activities. Okay, for suppose cultivating. Cultivation means for the land preparations. Okay, suppose you want any machineries. You need to pay for custom clearing centers. You need to pay some amounts. For that, the entire activity, what are the money needed to produce your produce? For that activities, you need working capital. That working capital also bank is financing based on the business. It may be restricted to one cycle. Suppose the day one, the milk is coming day one. Suppose the milk is going out to within day itself, or you are converting your value addition to the milk. Okay, it takes another 10 days. Your working capital will be restricted 10 days or 15 days, or based on your activity. For jackfruit business, suppose you are purchasing the raw material, jackfruit or seeds from the farmers or from the traders, and how many days you are taking to processing? It may be a 10 days or 15 days or 1 month. And after 10 days, you are going to market the product. Till the date, you will get the working capital. Working capital, one cycle, it may be restricted to one cycle. From day, once the product is arrived in the raw material is once arrived in your factory, then when it goes out, then you can add it that receivables and payables. Suppose you are giving the credit, or you need to get the amount from the buyers. that you can add it in the proposals. Mudra, this is one of the another important scheme. Up to 10 lakhs you can get without any securities, any closing activities, any allied activities also, and micro enterprise also. You can start any business under this Mudra Yojana. Up to 10 lakhs without any securities. All the banks are extending the loans under the schemes. For Jackfruit processing, you are having any Pakka processing, suppose you are having any Pakka processing center and you doesn't have any storage. Okay, you can start your cold storage or warehouse under the schemes. Okay, they are giving 33% or 23% depends upon the category. The agriculture marketing department giving the subsidy amount, capital subsidy. Yes, we are having the separate schemes for the farmer producer company also. They are having, suppose they are having that eligible, bank is fixing some eligibility for the farmers producer company. Permanent CEO should be there and the director should be there, and one director, among the director, one should be the female candidate, and they should not have any loss in the last 2 years. That balance sheet should be the profitable in the last 2 years, and they should have the Pakka business plan, what they are going to do in future. So they need to submit the entire Pakka business plan and audited details where they are doing the audit itself. Okay, that audit and what they are going to do. Okay, we are having the separate things, and they should have minimum 300 members, minimum 300 shareholders. Okay, these are the major important things for this financing farmer producer company. I think that the raw session is PMFME. You got sufficient knowledge in the PMFME. If you have any doubt, you can clarify it. Apart from that, Stand Up India. Stand Up India scheme, you can get 2 crore loan without any security for SC/ST and women entrepreneurs. Those who are going to start a new business, not to the existing business. The new business, you can avail the financial aid under the Stand Up India scheme. It is a government sponsored scheme that PM also. Okay, they are giving some. You need not give any collateral securities, only the primary securities. Okay, the women get a loan, and SC/ST also they can get the loan with capital with the subsidy.
Thank you, sir. Now we are moving forward to our next technical session, which is on packaging solution for jackfruit-based products. For this session, we have with us Dr. S. Anand Kumar, sir, Associate Professor and Head in charge of DA PhD, NIFTEM Thanjavur. I would like to introduce sir to you. Prior joining to IFPT, he has served as an Assistant Professor in Department of Marine Technology, College of Marine Science and Technology in Northeast Africa. He has 15 years of experience in teaching and research, also specialized in designing of food processing equipment and development of sustainable food packaging material. He has developed many processing equipment and technology like continuous type counter, current form, mat dryer, solid packed wet dryer, vegetable rotator washer, and many more. I would like thank you, sir, and thank you, sir, for accepting our invitation. The session is over to you, sir.
Thank you very much. Dear participants, good afternoon, one and all. So this session we will see about packaging standards for jackfruit based product. So sometimes you can use the raw fruit for edible purpose. So you can see some of the vacuum packed jackfruits are available in the market in a frozen state. Sometimes you can have some different kinds of product, even from the fruit leather, even from the fruit seed and the fruit, you have many kinds of product which is available in the market. So whenever you go for the processing or the processed food items, so you have to give the importance for the selection of the packaging material, also the packaging condition, so that the shelf life can be extended. So mainly if you see the industries, particularly for the processed food items, mainly nowadays to maintain the hygiene and to maintain the quality of the product. Early it was manual and manual based packaging systems was used. Then the industry, it is moved to semi-automatic packaging system. Currently, you can see majority of the industry to maintain the quality of the product, we are going for automatic packaging systems. So the terminology when we say the packing and the packaging, okay, it's totally different. But when we say the packing, so it doesn't have any confined design or any particular engineering applications. So simply we can take some material, put it in some covers, so that action should be called packing. But when we use the terminology packaging, so it has some engineering applications, it has some science background, it has the polymer science, the material selection, everything which will be included. For example, when we want to pack the materials for shipment from one country to another country, either through the ship or through the air cargo, the packaging container designs are totally different. And also when you have it for the consumer type of packing, for example, unit packaging, the individual product will be packed in a packaging material. So that time the packaging material specifications, strength, barrier properties, it's totally different. So when you use the terminology, it is very, very important. So the packaging, when we say we have physical material that will cover or enwrap any valuable product, that actions we will call it as a packaging. Okay, for example, the physical material, it can be a glass bottle, it can be a metal container, or it can be a paper or plastic films, laminated pouches, polymer material, whatever it may be. So the packaging physical material which will cover the valuable product. So here our valuable product, it can be a jackfruit jam, jackfruit syrup, or it can be a jackfruit flour, or any candy or fruit leather, whatever it may be. So it will be protected by the packaging material. So mainly if you see the functions of the packaging material, why we are going for packaging. So mainly to hold the product containment, and we don't want to spoil our product by the environmental factors. So packaging material only will do the protection. And nowadays the peoples are mainly health conscious. They are more health conscious. So whenever they are selecting the product in the market, they will take the product and they will see the labels and they will see the nutrition profile. Then they will select the product. So in such a case, what are the communications you want to give? Even if you see that FSSI standard, they are giving some 13 parameters. It has to be printed in your processed food items whenever you are selling in the market. So in such a case, the packaging material will do the communications. It will also act called as a silent sales representative. And another thing you can see, utility of the performance. Nowadays, the convenient foods are coming in the market. For example, resealable pouches. Okay, sometimes sustainable packaging material, the packaging material which will not pollute the environment. Okay, reusable packaging material, recyclable packaging material. So in such a case, whenever you are selecting the packaging material for your product, so you have to consider in the point of view the consumer, and as well as you have to consider in the point of the legislation or policy decision, and also you have to consider in the point of environmental pollution also. So in such a case, it is very important how much you are giving importance for the development of the product. The same importance has to be given for selection of the packaging material and the usages. In general, we will call it the packaging types or the category. It's a primary, secondary, and transit packaging. So the primary packaging will have a direct contact with the food item. Secondary packaging, which consists of many number of primary packed food items, and the transit packaging, the volume is bigger, the packaging material strength will be higher, and also if you see the labeling, what are the things which will be printed, it will be varying with the primary, secondary, and the transit packaging also. So mainly this transit packaging, which can be used for packing a bulk product and mainly for transportation from one country to another country, one state to another state. So they will have a bigger containers. So in such a case, the strength and the stability and as well as the labeling, everything will be varying with the packaging material. And here, when we talk about the consumer packaging, that primary packaging is very, very important. For example, the packaging material should not react with your food items. It should not have any migration effect. It should not have any leaching effect. And it should have a proper barrier properties so that the internal quality of the product which can be maintained. So whenever you are selecting the primary packaging material, so that time you have to follow the FSSAI standards and as well as the BLE standard, which will be recommended for food grade packaging material. And in the market, you can see these are all the common packaging material. We are using it for the packaging of processed food items. For example, you can see the jackfruits are packed in the metal cans. Jackfruits are packed in a glass bottles. Even the jackfruits are packed in a PET bottles, syrups. So in such a case, that major packaging material what we are using it, that glass, plastics, metal containers, and the paper and corrugated fiberboard boxes. If you select any one of the packaging material, it has its own characteristics, the features, and it has the advantages and also some limitations. For example, if you take the glass bottles, it is good, it will protect your food items from the environmental factor because it has very good barrier properties and also which will not react with your food items any chemically because the melting point of the glass you can see 1300 degree, 1500 degree. If you see our thermal processing temperature, it is maximum up to 121.1 degree, and you can see some ultra high temperature. If you go, it can go up to 135 degrees centigrade. So the glass material is very safe, but if you see the disadvantages, the cost wise, it is higher, and the empty weight of the container also it is very high when compared to other packaging. So in such a case, it has some limitation in the usages where you want to go for the thermally processed food item, there you can use it. Otherwise, wherever you need some high barrier packaging materials, so there you can use it, these glass materials. Otherwise, we have that plastics, it is less in weight, very cheap, flexibility, okay, and you can make any shapes. The only issue will be the environmental pollutions. And the metal cans, yes, we are using metal cans also when compared to glass material. The metal cans also having a very good barrier properties. Okay, but here also the cost of the packaging material will be a little bit higher. And also the empty cans, which will be occupying the larger volume. The plastic films, the empty film will not occupy larger volume, but the empty cans, which will occupy the larger volume in the storage rooms. And the paper and paper-based materials, corrugated boxes, which is used in the secondary packaging. The craft paper with lined polymers that is also used in the packaging of some snacks foods, particularly for the desiccated or dried coconut chips are packed in this type of pouches. So when we see the plastics, normally the plastics we have two categories. One is the flexible packaging material, and second one is rigid packaging material. The flexible packaging material, it can be a monomer material, either it can be a polyethylene, polypropylene, or polyvinyl chloride like that, monomer material, or it can be a copolymer materials, or it can be a laminated pouches. One or two layers of the film, it can be merged together by using some additive materials. Then it can be improved with the tensile strength and the barrier properties that can be used. So normally this type of flexible packaging materials, it can be produced by the industry by using this axial blown method or casting method. So you can see in the market there are many even frozen jackfruits or desiccated jackfruits, or you can see the jackfruit chips are packed in laminated pouches with a ziploc. So these are all the films are available. It is called flexible pouches. Then we have rigid containers. For example, that rigid containers, it can be made by thermoforming methods. For example, this EPS trays, okay, epoxy, what we can say that foamed tray, string, polystyrene. Otherwise, you can have these PET bottles, PET containers. So these type of bottles or containers, it can be made by using a thermoforming method, by using plug acid method or vacuum wrapping method. It can be formed. And these materials are having a very good barrier material, and sometimes you can add some UV stabilized materials into the packaging material so that any UV rays which can pass through the containers, so that your product color changes can be minimized and any quality changes also can be controlled. Even if you see these type of PET containers, it will be sealed with on the top. It can be sealed with impulse sealing, so that the moisture transfers everything from the environmental to the inside the containers. Everything can be stopped. Even this type of the containers, they can say sometimes the tuna type of containers. Otherwise, you can see this type of PET containers, or you can see that the polystyrene number, what we can say number 6 polystyrene containers. So these type of things will have the lid and containers. So these things also which can be used for packaging of this type of fresh jackfruits. When we see the plastic materials, so you can see these numbers, okay, for example, number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. So these are all the major plastic packaging material what we are using in our packaging industry. So this PET bottle mainly whenever you are going for some carbonated beverages, okay, even if you see some snacks foods, or if you see that jackfruit flowers, so those things it can be packed in this type of PET containers, and the high density polyethylene and the low density polyethylene, polymer chloride. Okay, for example, some chiclets, candy, something you are making by using a blister packaging method, then you can use this blister packaging technology. Otherwise, sometimes you are making some of the product, for example, milk-based flavored milk. Nowadays, you can see in the market, jackfruit flavored yogurts are also coming in the market. So this type of product, it can be packed in a polypropylene cup, so that can be stored in cold storage conditions. Otherwise, we have a polystyrene, okay, epoxy polystyrene material. So number 6. Otherwise, that copolymer material or laminated materials for improving the strength and barrier properties, we have this number 7 packaging material. So these numbers mainly used when we use the product and when we throw the packaging material, the environment. So sometimes some agencies or municipals, they will collect these materials, and according to the number they will segregate it, and the collected material can be sent to the recycling plant for productions. Mainly in our food applications, the one-time used packaging, plastic packaging materials are not advisable for second-time packaging. So in such a case, again, it can be recycled, it can be used for some other purpose. And coming to some of the machineries and technologies, one is that modified packaging material, modified atmosphere packaging. Here we have 3 kinds of setup. One is that chamber machines. So here you can see, you can take the jackfruits in a trays and you can put it in the chamber machine. Either you can create the vacuum or you can press the known gases. For example, by reducing the oxygen level, increasing the carbon dioxide level and the nitrogen level, you can have this chamber machine. Otherwise, we have some bulk packaging, 5 kg or 2 kg of products in a plastic film, flexible film. Then you can use this smoker machine, where like our vacuum cleaner, the needle will be inserted into the pouches that can remove the air, otherwise that can flush the gases, the known gases, then the sealing can be done. So that is called the smoker machine. Otherwise, you can see this type of continuous form field sealing machines are available. So this type of machines per minute it can have the capacity, for example, 12 packets can be packed, 30 packets can be packed. So it has either single channel or multiple channel packaging devices. So in single channel, only the product will come, the sealing can be done after forming and cooling. If you choose that multiple channel, so in one end the gas will come, nitrogen gas, something you want to flush it, nitrogen gas will come. In another end you can supply the product. So like that, the form fill sealing machines, it is available for flour item, it is available for the flakes and the chips. Another thing you can see that vacuum packed jackfruits, okay, particularly when we go for some frozen food items, or sometimes when you want to extend because it is a seasonal crop only. So in such a case, to make it availability throughout the year, so there are some technologies, for example, that canned fruit or these type of vacuum packaging systems are used. So this you can see a single chamber vacuum packaging machine or a twin chamber, double chamber vacuum packaging machines are available. So the cost of this equipment may be some varying from 1.5 lakhs to 3.5 lakhs. So this will be varying from some lakhs to 10 lakhs. So double chamber vacuum packaging machine. So in such a case, whenever you select the nylon based packaging material or any flexible packaging material, polyethylene, polypropylene, so you can keep the product and initially you can create the vacuum, remove the air, then you can do the hermetic sealing. So because of that, the controlled conditions, so these peeled jackfruits, it can be stored in the cold storage condition for a longer period. Another thing what we are using is paper and paper-based packaging in the corrugated boxes. So mainly the craft papers are used for packaging of the dried, or we can say the desiccated coconut. What this not coconut, this jackfruit chips. So for that we are using it. So this craft paper can be lined with some LDP. Okay, so that a liner material. So you can make such as Ziploc pouches. Otherwise, that paper-based material, you can make some corrugated boxes. Either it can be a single fruit or double fruit. Okay, so this type of materials you can use it for packaging of that the desiccated jackfruits. Okay, or that dried jackfruits in a corrugated boxes. So that you can use it. So mainly when we see these boxes, corrugated fiberboard boxes, so it is made by regular slaughtered cases. But for example, there are different shapes and different provisions are there for different applications. For example, you can see RSC full overlap will be there. Otherwise, that of RSC regular slaughtered cases. So this type of boxes, it can be used in the orchard for collecting the fruits and other things. So sometimes if you have the partition, so in individual partitions, okay, or slatter, you can keep the products, okay, in the individual packets. And also according to the height and the width of the fruits, the number of fruits per square inch, they have a category from A to G, they have the corrugated fiberboard boxes. So normally for our food applications for secondary packaging materials, okay, they can use either A and B type of corrugated boxes that can be used. Otherwise, these paper-based materials are used in the packing of the value-added product, particularly the jackfruit chips and the jackfruit dried jackfruits. In such a case, these composite containers, okay, that composite containers in the sense it has different packaging materials. For example, paper-based material, metal lids and plastic lids. Okay, so like that it will be there. Here you can see it is made by the paper, the body it's made by the paper, and the closure is made by the metal. So like that composite containers are used because nowadays many industries they are minimizing the usage of the plastics, particularly the rigid containers, they are minimizing it. So the alternative is by using this type of composite container so that they can minimize the usage of the plastics. And these materials also which can have the product, the stability which can be maintained, even the color, flavors, everything it can be maintained by using selection of these composite containers. Sometimes you can see this type of laminated pouches, that craft paper with a liner of LDP film. It is used even sometimes you are packing some flour item, for example, jackfruit seed flour or jackfruit powders, something you are packing. So that time bulk quantity 1 kg, 2 kg or 5 kg. So they can use this type of craft paper with liner materials. Other packaging materials, what we are using it for thermally processed food items, particularly for the jackfruit. So this canning of jackfruit. So in the canning, we are using that metal cans. So these metal cans, it is available in the market either 2-piece cans or 3-piece cans. So that 3-piece cans will have 2 lid and 1 body portions, and 2-piece cans will have body portions and the lid portions. So the processing of that metal cans, it will be varying the sizing, lacquering or the flanging, okay, that embossing or what we can say the exhausting, okay, that can filling cement, all the things will be included in the canning operations. So even if you set that, if you set some canning industry for the jackfruit, so under this PMFME scheme, so if you have some 25 lakhs the investment, so you can set a complete thermal processing line for the jackfruits. So this thermal processing canning lines not only used for the jackfruit, any commodity what you have, fruits and vegetables, so that can be thermally processed. And the thermally processed food item, you can keep it in the open atmosphere where the shelf life can be 6 months or 1 year, it can be there. So this is the processing what we are doing for that jackfruit. Okay, so in such a case, the jackfruit chunks or fruits, it can be taken into the metal container. So sometimes they will add the brine solution, salt brine solutions, or it can be added with the sugar solutions. Okay, sugar salt solutions, and it can be closed with the lids, and after that it can be put it in the retard chamber. So where the temperature will be varying from some 80 to 85 degrees centigrade or 95 degrees centigrade. So after processing that canned materials, it can be cooled down and it can be kept in the open atmosphere. So these type of products, it doesn't have any cold storage facilities. In the open atmosphere, it can be stayed for a longer period. For example, that empty cans, as I told you, it will occupy the spaces, it will occupy the storage volume. So in such a case, to minimize the cost of the packaging, now instead of canning, we are going for retard pouch also, because the retard pouch, it has the advantages. It will not occupy the larger volume. The cost of the packaging material also very less, and also the heat transfer area is more, so that the processing time also can be minimized. So in such a case, the jackfruits are packed in retard pouches also. So the retard pouches normally will have more than 6 layers. So it has some plastic films, it has that aluminum layers. Okay, so even it has some laminated layers in it, so that it can improve the barrier properties. It can withstand the elevated temperature during the retarding processing. So these type of pouches also available for processing of the jackfruit fruits. These are all the closures we are using it. Okay, for example, that crown cork we are using it whenever you are using some glass bottle. We are using that crown cork. The cork can be made by the plastic materials. So mainly that lug caps we are using. Otherwise, roll-on flyer caps are there. So these type of caps which will be called lug caps. So you no need to turn completely. So off turn the bottle can be closed. Sometimes the closures will have the threads, so you have to turn 2-3 times, then it's completely sealed. Otherwise, you have this lug type, okay, so that fry up type, you can just lift it and you can push it so that the closures will be there. So mainly the closures are made by the metals and plastics materials. Okay. Then we have this bag in box system. For example, you can have some jackfruit pulp or jackfruit syrup or the jackfruit seed flour or jackfruit flour items. Okay, the rinds, whatever it may be. So these things are nowadays it is packed in a bag in box system. So the bag in box systems will have two packaging material. One is that corrugated boxes will outside for printing and the strength, and inner materials it can be made by the pouch materials. Okay, so it can be a metallized film or it can be a laminated pouches with a spout. So these type of things it can be used for some syrup and paste material, pulp material, and these type of things it can be used for dried materials or flakes, or it can be used for flour materials. So this is called bag in box systems. And whenever you come for this dried product, particularly when you make some jackfruit leather or the dried jackfruit chunks, or if you take the chips, jackfruit chips, whatever it may be, the quality losses will be taking place due to that crispiness and oxidation effect. Okay, that color changes, browning effect will come. So in such a case, when you go for selecting the packaging material, you select the packaging material, it should be a grease-proof material, that oil should not migrate. That oxidation should be controlled. Okay, crispiness. Okay, mainly for example, that moisture absorption, so that can be avoided. Otherwise, machinability. Whenever you are developing some packaging material, because nowadays all the packaging industry they are using machinery-based, machinery, semi-automatic or automatic packaging system. So your packaging material it should synchronize with the machinability, so that capacity of the production will be increased. Physical strength, printability, sealing integrity. Okay, all these things are very, very important when you select the packaging materials. So here you can see sometimes the laminated pouches or the cold polymer materials are used for this type of snacks foods, particularly the desiccated or dehydrated jackfruits. So sometimes you need a monomer material, for example, polyethylene based packaging material. A single monomer material can be used for packing of this type of dried product. But if you see the shelf life, it is very limited. For example, 10 days, 15 days. But whenever you are increasing the film size, or you are increasing the layers of the film, then automatically what will happen? You are improving the barrier properties, you are improving the strength of the packaging material. So automatically your product life can be increased to 3 months, 6 months. So these are all the combinations they are using it for mainly for the snacks food items, otherwise any dried materials or flour materials. Okay, so in such a case, you can see, for example, I'm taking, it's a BOPP, biaxially oriented polypropylene. Middle layer will be metallized polyester, and the inner layer will be low density polyethylene. Some example I'm taking. So this LDPE will have very good sealing property. That metallized polyester will have very good barrier for the light, or it can be gases, it can be controlled. So this biaxially oriented polypropylene, so it will be in the outer side, it will have very good tensile, or it can be printed. So for that purpose, they have the 3 layers. So like that, you can select the product, your product, the food item what you have, and you first finalize how many days you want to extend the shelf life. Okay, so based on that, you can select the number of layers for the packaging of these type of products. The other packaging machineries, what we are using it, you can see sometimes that form fill sealing machines are highly used. Either it can be a vertical form fill sealing machines, or it can be horizontal form fill sealing machines. Sometimes precision packaging machines are used, where exactly the known quantity can be filled into the pouches. Okay, so if it is a flour material, they use this auger filling method, or if it is a chips or leather material, then they can use this cup filling method. Even nowadays, vibratory form fill sealing machines are used in the Jackfruit chips packing unit. So the individual cups will carry a quantity of the chips, and it can be put it in the pouches where it is forming and filling will be taking place. Otherwise, I'm not having that much amount to buy this equipment, because this equipment cost varying from 3.5 lakhs to 7 lakhs, 8 lakhs. So if you don't have the facilities, then we have this band sealer with the gas flushing. So this unit will be around some 45,000. The gas cylinder may be some 10,000 rupees with the regulator. So one gas cylinder, it can be used for packing of some 200, 300 packets. So in such a case, the packaging operating cost, it can be 1 rupee only, 1 rupee or 1.5 rupee. So when you are having a small scale industry, then you can buy this band sealer with the flushing unit. Okay. Another thing, nowadays many people, they are working on circular economy. We don't want any waste material from the jackfruit also. Even Niftam Tanjavur has developed the technology, the waste material of that jackfruit leather. So that strings, they separated, they dried it, and they made it this type of cups and cones, ice cream cones and plates. So it has more fiber, for example, 12.93% fiber, and it has the protein. So this type of cups also, it can be used in the serving stations, particularly for the juices and tea. So everything it can be utilized. Okay, it has a very good fiber and starch material. So that some people, they can think of developing, collecting this type of bed material, converting to this type of packaging. Even if you approach us, we will also give you a complete guidance, consultancy, and even our institute, it's going to set up this sustainable packaging unit in our institute. So any people interested, you can approach us. We can transfer their technology also. Then we have the shrink packaging. Sometimes it will be used in the end of the packaging line. But for example, you have unit packaging any products. Okay, either it can be a beer style packaging, otherwise you can have this P or PP covered, what we can say, the pack material. So in such a case, when you want to make it compactness, or when you want to easy handling, the shrink packaging will be used. So the primary packed product will be covered with either polyethylene, polypropylene, or copolymer of ethylene vinyl acetate. And when you pass through these materials after covering with any plastic film, so it will be shrinkable. Okay, so like how we have stitch packaging or shrink packaging, so it is called shrink packaging. Then coming to the labels, so whenever you are making some processed food items, you have to follow that FSSAI standard. There are many governing bodies are there for certification, particularly the Bureau of Indian Standard, AGMAR, okay, BAS standard, halal certification. So in such a case, in our case, processed food item, when you follow, then you have to follow the FSSAI guidelines. So in such a case, in labeling nowadays, in advanced technology they are using it, particularly that RFID tags are using for easy traceability of your material, for giving more information about your product to the consumers. Okay, these RFID tags, QR codes, hashtag codes, these are all the things are currently used for easy billing and getting more information about the product. In considering the FSSI, so as I told you, this that in parameters, it has to be printed when you are selling that processed food item in the market, okay, which include name of the product, address of the company, batch number when you manufacture the product, okay, date and month of manufacture, what is the total weight of the product, okay, list of ingredients. So sometimes if you add some preservatives or if you add some of the sugars or something additives you are adding, so the ingredient detail it has to be given, license number it has to be given, a vegetarian mark, okay, whether it can be a vegetarian or non-vegetarian, okay, either egg powder sometimes they will add it, okay, so the symbol it has to be mentioned, MRP, the expiry date or best before date it has to be mentioned. Sometimes some product it should be stored in the cold storage or dark place. So if there's something it is needed, that has to be mentioned. Nutrition profile or approximate nutrition profile has to be given. If there is some people will have some allergy, okay, by consuming some proteins or some of the preservatives or some additives that cause some allergens. So something it is that. So you have to clearly mention the customer care details. So these are all the things you have to follow when you sell the product in the market. Okay. With this, I thank the organizers for giving this opportunity to share some of the packaging technology, packaging material standard which is available for the Jackfruit. If you have any questions, we can answer it. And even whenever you have doubt, you can send a mail request to our director at iipt.edu.in. Otherwise, we have the department technology transfer department, tot@iipt.edu.in. Even our packaging department, okay, so there anywhere you can send a mail, we can support you. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir. Now I would like to invite Dr. Abhijit Arun Katade, Assistant Professor, Department of Food Science and Technology in Shivaji University, Kolhapur. His expertise in new product development, food analysis, and quality control and food safety. He has around 10 years of teaching and research experience. He has published 8 research publications in international journals, 3 handbooks, and 3 manuals. Previously, he was involved extension work in like technical expert entrepreneurship development program courses, Maharashtra Center for extra Entrepreneurship Development, and vice versa. I welcome you, sir, and thank you so much for accepting our invitation. The session is over to you, sir.
Thank you, team, for allowing me for this webinar. I'll just share my screen. Okay, so basically I will be dealing with a topic called food safety and FSSAI aspects, or we can consider like the regulatory requirements when you are into a business of jackfruit based product manufacturing. So we'll see what are the requirements which are mandatorily being followed by any food business operator. So before entering into the requirements, prior to analyzing the things what are there in the regulation, like when we talk about FSSAI or maybe the Food Safety Act, we need to understand some terminology. So eventually there are two most important terminologies. One is the quality and another one is the safety. So in case of fruit quality, it should be at mostly of a particular quality of its intended use. So basically if we consider quality means the characteristics which are satisfying the needs of its intended use. So in our case, as being as a manufacturer, whatever raw material, or in case of us, like it is a jackfruit processing. So what jackfruit you are going to utilize, the quality characteristics needs to meet with your particular requirement. Say like if you see in the image, the jackfruit, what it is coming into a food processing industry needs to be of a sound quality. The color should be of an integrity. There should not be any blemishes. They should not be spoiled. So there are lot of aspects associated with the characteristics of a product. What that is what we called as a quality. So generally we feel like quality means only a good quality only, but it is not like that. When we think about the quality of raw material or any kind of finished product, we need to think about another aspect which is called as negative appearance or negative characteristics. Negative characteristics means what it should not be present in your product. So ultimately we will be always doing our all tasks not to have such kind of negative characteristics in your product, and we will be just doing everything so that we will be having a maximum good qualities in your product. So again, ultimately why we are bothering about the quality and the safety of product, because ultimately the product is going to be get consumed by a consumer. So again, the preferences will get decided based on the quality characteristics. So if we consider the end use quality, it may be of organoleptic quality, it may be a chemical quality, it may be a physical quality, and somehow we can now consider at it might be a microbiological quality also. So in case of organoleptic, it comes like the properties what we are able to analyze by our sensory organs like eye, nose, or maybe a touch or feel. So the most important properties when we think about a quality of food product or maybe a raw material, it might consider like a color of the product, a taste and smell of the product. There should not be any off flavor product. So when we think about processing of jackfruit, we need to understand there are a lot of varieties of jackfruit in commercially available or maybe which are commercially cultivated also, and somehow there are few varieties which are non-commercial, which are underutilized, or sometimes those goes under a category called NTFP, like non-timber forest produce. So again, that identification we need to do based on the physical characterization, or whether the size is there, whether the color is of that particular variety or not. So based on analyzing the physical characteristics of any produce, maybe a jackfruit or any kind of fruit, you will be able to identify a particular variety. And obviously if there is a varietal difference, obviously the chemical properties will vary, and anyhow now you have to just cope up with the requirements whatsoever are there to manufacture a particular product out of that raw material. Then coming towards the next point, that is food safety. So food safety is nothing but an assurance that whatever the product you are manufacturing, whatever products you are selling or catering to the consumer, is not going to have any harm to them. So that is what an assurance you need to build. So again, to have an assurance, you need to have an inbuilt system in your industry which is called as food safety management system. So again, a food safety management system is a systematic approach of doing all the activities in your industry, which will be based on the GMP, that is good manufacturing practices, GHP, that is good hygienic practices, and at mostly it will be based on HACCP principles. There are 7 principles and 12 steps to implement the hazard analysis and critical control point system in your industry. Obviously you will be able to go for certification of your industry also if you have an implemented food safety management system like ISO 22000, ISO 14000 is dealing with an environmental management system. So in and all, if you have an implemented systems like GMP, GHP, HACCP, ISO in your industry, overallly your industry will be having an implemented system called as food safety management system, by which you will be able to justify, yes, whatever I am doing is well, and there will not be any harm associated with this product. So when it comes to food quality and food safety, there should be some authorization, there should be some regulatory
Abhijit?
body. Yes,
Abhijit,
yes, ma'am.
I think your slides are not moving.
Is it so? I'll
I don't
check it.
know.
I'll check.
Some participants put up in the chat. For me also, it's still in the first slide only.
Okay.
Sir, can you put your slide on a slideshow mode and move the slide?
Yeah, it is on a slideshow. I'll
No, no,
reshare
no.
it one more time.
No, no.
Are you able to see the
Yes.
slide now?
Yes.
Okay, fine. Uh, so I was just talking about the food controlling system. Like when we think about having an implemented system of food safety, or when we think about providing an assurance to the consumer and implementing a food safety system, there should be some authoritative agency or maybe what we generally called as a regulatory body to look after all the workforces what are happening in a industry. Say the manufacturer side, if we consider a food processing manufacturer, they should not do any unbiased thing, or they should not do any fraudulent things in their businesses, so that it is going to harm the consumer. So to have a proper business in a society, so that both of the parties, like the food business operator or maybe a consumer, they will be get equally benefited and there will not be any harm associated with it. So that is what we called as national food control system. So in our case, like suppose if we are manufacturing and we are selling our product in India, or that is what we called as a domestic business. So if you are into a domestic business, or suppose you are importing some raw material or maybe an ingredients which are manufactured overseas, but you are going to utilize them in your food processing business, then it comes under import business kind of activity. So obviously if you are into a domestic manufacturing and selling, and ultimately if you are into an importing of some kind of produce, you will be able to abide with the rules and regulation stated by FSSAI. So what is FSSAI? FSSAI is nothing but Food Safety Standard Authority of India, which is a statutory body which regulates the fair business in a in a country or in India. So basically the FSSAI has been got generated under an act which is called as Food Safety Standard Act, which has been now got as a single act in India for all food businesses that they are covering into. So if we consider, primarily there were a lot of rules and auditing and all these processes. So there was huge burden on the manufacturer's side also. So Safety Standard Act. So again, if you are into a manufacturing business, but you are just selling the product into an overseas countries, that is what we called as export business. Pardon, please. I think there is some disturbance. Priya, I hope the slide is visible now.
Yes, sir, but can you put in a slideshow mode? It is not
Yeah, it
visible.
is in slideshow mode only now.
No, sir.
Wait 1 second. Now is it fine?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. So I was just talking about the export business. So if you are into a business of exporting some kind of a thing, like whatsoever product you are manufacturing and you are sending it into an overseas countries, you need to abide with the regulations of FSSAI also, and you need to follow the requirements which are stated by the Export Inspection Council, that is EIC. So you need to have a certification from EIC, then only you will be able to send your consignment to the particular destination or maybe the destination country. So when it comes to an FSSAI, anyhow, we are into an micro food processing enterprises. We will be primarily focusing on the business in a country. So we will be requiring to abide with the rules and regulations stated by FSSAI. So when it comes to have an implementation of Food Safety and Standard Act, there are a lot of regulation that we need to follow. So again, under the section 92 of this act, they have got formulated lot of regulation like licensing and registration of food businesses, food product standards and food additives regulation. So we will just eventually go and see what are the regulations and what it states and what we need to follow under those regulations. So if you just go to the regulation that is called as food product standards and food additives regulation, you will be able to find the definition of a particular product what you are manufacturing. So in our case, now we are into a jackfruit processing. So if you are into a business of manufacturing jackfruit pulp or jackfruit puree or maybe a jackfruit juice, you need to think about what actually it has been stated under the regulation and the characteristics associated with the product. So again, you will be able to find under the section 2.3 fruits and vegetable product. Under that, if you go point number 2.3.16, it is dealing with the definition and all the requirements associated with fruits and vegetable juice, pulp and puree with their preservatives for industrial use. So again, generally the jackfruit pulp, nobody is directly using it for a domestic consumption or a home manufacturing or home utilization. It will generally go maximally towards the industrial utilization. So we need to understand whether the product what you are manufacturing is for home use or for industrial use. Depending upon that, the standards and the requirements will get changed. So again, in case of appendix A, you will be able to find out the limits associated with the food additives which are permitted by the FSSAI. Like if you just find the table 14, like in case of 14.1.2, it has been stated like what are the additives which are permitted for fruits and vegetable juices, like benzoates, what will be the recommended maximum level or MRL level or whatsoever the content you are utilizing, it should not exceed to the particular limit which has been prescribed in appendix A. So again, in case of appendix B, you will be able to find out the microbiological requirements associated with your food product. So in that case, you have table 4A and table 4B. These all things you will find it on the website. There is a PDF that is again meant into an English and Hindi version. So you can just go through it. So when it comes to a table 4A and 4B, they are dealing with a microbiological standards which states like it is relating to the process hygiene criteria and food safety criteria. So process hygiene criteria means the microorganism which is associated with the hygienic requirement or hygienic environment in the food industry, like the aerobic plate count, yeast and mold count, enterobacteriaceae, staphylococcus aureus. So all these microorganisms are indicating microorganisms which are indicating the hygienic environment of your industry. In case of food safety criteria, the Salmonella, E. coli, Listeria, Vibrio, these are of much more deadlier and dangerous microorganism. Maybe because of the infection of such kind of microorganisms, some people may enter into a death also, or there will be a serious injuries and health associated disorders. So again, such kind of microorganisms need not be present, or they should be absent, utterly absent in your food processing premises also, and eventually in your finished product also. So as I already mentioned, the food safety system has to be there as per the requirement by an FSSAI. Every food business manufacturer has to have an implemented food safety management system. And again, if you just go with the requirement which is there in a licensing and registration regulation, there is one point which is we called as a schedule 4 category, where you will be able to find out the hygienic and sanitary practices that you need to follow when you are going to apply for registration, or either for applying a license. You need to cope up with the requirements which are given in schedule 4. So again, if you consider schedule 4, it has been got categorized into 5 parts. Part 1 is dealing with the petty food business operator whose business will be small and they are only entitled for registering their businesses in the food authority. Part 2 is dealing with the food manufacturing, processing, packaging, storage or distribution, or the food business operator who are into a business of food handling. Eventually those capacities will be little bit higher and they will come under the category of licenses. So again, if you are going to apply for license for your food business, you need to cope up with the requirements given in part 2. Eventually in a milk and slaughter, they are much more perishable in the nature, and few of the requirements are much more specific to them and a little more stringent. So those all requirements are given in part 3 and 4. If you are into a business of service industries like catering, anyhow, this kind of activity we are not recommending in our PMFME scheme. We are just subsidizing or maybe supporting only for the manufacturing food businesses. One or two people have asked this question in the chat box. So this is what you need to understand, like PMFME is only dealing with the manufacturing of food product or manufacturing of value added products only. So when we are thinking about PMFME scheme and supporting a food business operator, you need to apply for license and registration also. And when you think about applying for registration and license for your food business, you have to cope up with part 1 and part 2 of the regulation. So again, if you go into an part 2 of the schedule 4 regulation of licensing and registration of food business, you will be able to find out number of requirements. So first requirement is the location, layout and facility. So again, when it comes to your industry, the location of your industry should be always away from environmentally polluted area. It should be away from industrial activity which may be producing some disagreeable or maybe of odors or fumes which may be get caught by your product, and eventually the traces of those components sometimes they will be dangerous to the human health. So again, such kind of activities, if they are in your vicinity or nearby your industry only, those all chemical industries are there or maybe some fertilizers industries are there, you need to take utmost care, and basically your industry should be far away from such kind of activities. So when it comes to the facilities available and the layout should be properly managed. The exterior of your industry should be well cemented so that there will not be any entrance of the contaminants or maybe like rodents or snakes, anything will not come eventually in an industry. So again, if you come into an industry, what internal facility you need to provide is the flooring and the equipment setup. So again, once you see about in this image only itself, you can see the flooring is fully smooth in a surface. It is coated with an epoxy coating. So generally, the smoothness will provide an ease in cleaning the floor. So generally, we do prefer having a brass slates or something, brass flooring, but generally when we have a connection there will be a gap between those brass flooring, and eventually the product may get clogged over there and it may act as a prone for further contamination, and the microorganisms which are growing on that contaminated place may enter into your food product. So eventually your flooring should be properly manageable, it should be thoroughly smooth so that proper cleaning will happen over there. If you consider the equipments and their materials, what it should be there, it should be made up of food grade materials only. In case of metal, when we consider a contact surface, whenever it is happening a contact with a food product, the contact surfaces of all the equipment should be made up of stainless steel. So there are again a grades of stainless steel like 316, 304, those all grades of stainless steels only you need to utilize wherever you find like there is a possibility of having a contact of your food product to the equipment. The rest of this place where there is no contact, you can utilize another varieties of stainless steel, or you can utilize an iron or cast iron also. Anyhow, when we think about an equipment and container what you are utilizing for your food businesses, they should be made up of non-corrosive and rust-free material. They should be smooth, free from any grooves or scratches. There should not be any scratch so that there will not be any entrance of contamination. They should not be non-toxic and non-reactive, and ultimately they should be of food grade quality. Again, if you consider few of the facilities what are ultimately required in a food business manufacturing is the continuous water supply. So again, when it comes to a water supply, there will be always a pipelining in your industry. So you need to have a color coding of all those pipes. Which pipe is making a flow of potable water? Which pipe is making a flow of uh, maybe a domestic use or maybe a cleaning water, or which pipe is making a flow of drainage? That all highlighting and color coding you have to mention. In case of jackfruit, I would like to highlight is that you need to have a hot water supply continuously, as there will be a huge latex produced during the course of manufacturing, or maybe like segregating the segments of the jackfruit from separating it from the rind, the latex will get generated. Eventually, when you are thinking to have a pulp out of jackfruit, the latex may get clogged or it may get stuck to the internal parts of your equipment. So it is not possible to clean such kind of places by only means of detergent and a cold water. So ultimately you need to have a hot water supply continuously in your food industry for a proper cleaning and maintenance of your equipment. So again, you need to have a proper waste disposal. Again, the color coding of such kind of waste disposal you need to do it so that you will be able to segregate the waste according to their characteristics. Then personal facilities, the toilets, air quality and ventilation should be there. Proper lighting should be there. Whatsoever lightnings you are having, maybe a tube or bulb, they should be thoroughly covered so that there will not be any accident in future or during the work. If suppose a tube light may get fallen down, the glass pieces may get shattered and they may get entered in your food product. So again, there is a risk associated with it. So always the tube lights and bulbs will be properly covered. when it comes to having an hygiene or maybe a cleanliness in your industry, you need to have established a cleaning and maintenance system in your industry. That is what we called as CIP, that is cleaning program, or cleaning in place program. So when it comes towards your industry should also facilitate the CIP. Like your equipment or the placing of the equipment should be in a such a way that you will be able to clean them properly. Always we recommend like your equipment should be little bit adjacent to the wall. There should be little space between your equipment and the wall, so that you will be able to go in between the wall and the equipment, and you will be able to clean the equipments properly. So again, in a CIP, when you think about having a protocol or maybe a program for cleaning and maintenance, you need to mention what area you want to clean, what will be the cleaning frequency, at what time you are going to clean it, whether you are going to clean and maintain your industry daily, or maybe after every 15 days, or maybe a monthly, bi-monthly, or maybe yearly once. That is not at all recommended if you are cleaning your industry once. So in case of jackfruit manufacturing industry, as I already mentioned, the latex is the most hurdle for any jackfruit processing industry. So cleaning has to be done daily. Cleaning has to be get carried out uh, on that particular day. Once the batch gets over, you need to go for cleaning. If you make a little late, the latex will get dried, and eventually it will be very hard for you, and it will be very tedious for you to reduce this kind of contaminants. So again, you need to have a pest controlling in your industries. Obviously, in case of fruits and vegetable, or where more sugary nature is there, the flies and ants may catch their presence eventually. So again, you need to have a thorough pest controlling plan in your industry to just get a rid out of the flies and maybe some insects. You need to have a placing of uh, a fly squads which will be having a blue light into it at exactly adjacent to your window, or maybe at the entry point of any places. You need to have placement of rodent traps, and the placement of rodent traps should be always at the opening where it is possibly a chance of entering any kind of rodents. It is only the opening place, like a door, maybe a window, maybe a guttering of the industry where the disposal is getting, or the waste is getting disposed. Such kind of places are only the place where there is a chance of entering such kind of rodents. So you need to place the rodent traps at those places only. Then once it comes to again and hygiene, obviously no matter what you do in your industry to maintain the industry's cleanliness and hygienic environment, the workers may become a prone contaminant for your industry. So wherever there is a possibility of handling, or maybe a touch, or maybe a contact of a person who is working in your industry, try to make minimum contact with the product. So how we can make it? So anyhow, sometimes we need to just cut the jackfruit, we need to peel it, we need to just separate the segments by hands only. There is no as such means of doing all this activity mechanization. So again, the human interference will be more in such kind of processing industry. So how we can just reduce the contamination chances in case of this personal hygiene case? So you need to provide some protective clothing to the person. You need to give them hand gloves, so that if their hands are contaminated, eventually that contamination will not get caught by a food product. You need to ask them to wear a face mask, the gloves, footwear, everything, all these protective gears and clothing you need to provide them. So again, if you find some workers, they are suffering from diseases or illness, or they are having a sign of fever, you have to make them on leave. You have to ask them not to come on the floor and work. So this is how you need to have some sort of regulations or the requirements to maintain a hygienic environment during the course of your processing. So again, once it comes to a control of operation, obviously it is very much important, like whatsoever jackfruit you are getting, whatsoever raw material you are getting for a processing, they are highly perishable. Eventually the maturity will get exceeded, the jackfruit may get ripened over, and eventually if you just peel out the jackfruit and whatsoever segments you separate, if you are storing them, you need to maintain the storage temperature and area also. So again, in our case, like we consider it as an a FIFO, like first in first out. So whatever jackfruits are coming in your industry for a processing first, you have to utilize them first, and you have to, whatsoever product is getting manufactured first, you have to send it into a market first, so that there will not be any chances of wastage. there will not be any chances of decomposition of the raw material. So again, when it comes to the control of operation, FATTOM is there. Like you need to consider the characteristics of a food which is being get utilized, the acidity over there, the time, temperature, oxygen, moisture. These are all 6 factors which are making the microbiological contamination more prone. So if you are maintaining all these 6 parameters in your industry, obviously there will not be any chances of microbial contamination. So again, I think the packaging point has been already covered. I will not go into it. Then product information and consumer awareness. By an regulation, it has been made mandatory. Like there are 14 sub points which has to be get mandatorily printed on your product, like the name of the product, the list of ingredients in a descending order, the nutritional information along with the RDA, the percent RDA, what it is being get supported by consuming your product, the declaration regarding vegetarian and non-vegetarian. When it comes to the vegetarian, you have to go for a green dot in a green square. When it comes to a non-vegetarian, previously it was red dot in a red square, but now it has been again got changed to a red triangle into a red box. So that's just like if few people have color blindness, so they are not able to differentiate between the color. So just to reduce this ambiguity between the color differentiation, now it has been got changed to circle and triangle. So if it is circle, it will be vegetarian. If it is a triangle, it will be non-vegetarian. Then the declaration regarding the food additives, what has been got added in your product, the limits associated with it should not exceed. Then date of manufacturing, best before or use by date. Now it has been got mandatorily made like expiry date. Now you have to mention the date of manufacturing along with date of expiry also. Then the name and complete address of the manufacturing industry has to be get mentioned. So in and all, about like 14 points are there that you will be able to find in the regulation itself in licensing and registration. Then food transportation, storage and distribution. So when it comes to manufacturing and selling of the product, you will be manufacturing at a one point and you will be selling your product in another point. So there will be a mediator called as a transportation means. So if your transportation means are not uh, properly managed, eventually your product will get contaminated, and whatever work you have done so far, whatever food safety system you have implemented in your industry, it will go into waste. So again, when it comes to a transportation, try to maintain your vehicle properly. So eventually, suppose if you are sending your consignment from one point to another point, and suppose your vehicle is not properly maintained and it gets collapsed at the middle of the road, eventually whatever products you are sending will get decomposed because of inefficiency of that way transportation facility. So management and supervision, when it comes to a management and supervision, like or implementing a food safety in a food business, somebody has to take an initiative and somebody has to have a supervisory view on all those activities. So you need to assign a different task to different people. There should be a group activity. There will not be a thing like only single person will be able to perform all those food safety activities. It's not like that. So you need to have a team association which will be looking after all the requirements of food safety. Then when maintaining a safety and quality, the food testing itself comes into an visualization. Like you will be able to justify the quality and safety of your food product only if you are testing it. So again, it has been made mandatory, like your product has to be get tested by a food testing laboratory, and that too FSSAI notified laboratories only. The validation of the results will be there only if you are analyzing it from NABL accredited laboratory only, or maybe of FSSAI notified laboratories only. Then again, training is the most important factor when considering maintaining a safety environment in an industry. Those workers who are there in your industry has to be get thoroughly trained about the food safety, how you have to maintain, what things you have to do, what things you should not do in the premises. That has to be get trained. Then audit documentation and record has to be properly maintained. So whenever there is any visit of food safety officer or maybe a food authority or anyone or maybe a general customer also, they will be able to thoroughly go and evaluate your industry based on the documents only. So it has been made mandatory, like you need to have a proper maintenance of documents and records. So when it comes to a licensing and registration of food business, you will be able to apply for your food business by logging through a FOSCOS website. That is, FOSCOS means Food Safety Compliance System. So this is the a basic flow process for registration of your food business. You need to create a login ID, then you can start an application, then you can just select a kind of business and check your eligibility, whether you are eligible to only obtain a registration or whether you are eligible to obtain license. In case of license also, it will be a state license or central license. It depends upon the capacity and turnover of your industry. So suppose if your turnover is less than 12 lakh, you will be only entitled to obtain registration for your food business. If your business is exceeding 12 lakh rupees, ultimately you will be eligible for obtaining licenses for your food business. So again, you have to select the kind of business, that is KOB, the category of food business. You have to select the details, and once you click, it will get reflected like what you have to apply for, whether it is registration or license. So if you are eligible for registration, you have to fill form A. If you are eligible for license, you have to fill form B. So whatever the basic requirements or the details are there that you need to fill into it, and then you have to proceed for submitting the application. Once you are submitting, you will be able, you have to pay a prerequisite fee. In case of registration, it is 100 rupees. In case of licensing, it ranges from 3000 to 7500, depending upon the type of license what you are applying. Once you apply for the once you apply through this particular procedure, you will be able to get a registration number, that is 14-digit registration number, that you can utilize for a further communication and to check the status of your food business, whether it has been got registered and your registration certificate has been got granted or not. So eventually sometimes it happens like there will be a delay from an authority to produce a certification or license for your industry. So there is a liberalization, like if eventually if you don't get a license for your food business till 6 months, you will be able to start your food business as such without license, and then eventually it will come, or you need to be in a communication with the food authority. You have to check why it is not coming, why it is making late. So all those compliances, there might be some compliances associated with your application. You need to be thoroughly into the process. You need to log in daily, and you need to check whether any requirement has been got posted on your portal or not, that you need to check, and then only you can just proceed for obtaining a license. So I'll just go quickly to the video how to proceed for licensing and registration. You just have to type FOSCOS. I think now it is working. So if you just type FOSCOS in the Google search tab, you will find the FOSCOS website, where you can just find out the list of standardized product, whether your product comes under the category or not. You will be able to identify it. You can track your application by the application number or the 14-digit number what you get after application, and you can just proceed by submitting the submit button, and you can just track whether you have got whether you have got sanctioned your registration or not. There are again 4 5 tabs. The yellow tab is only meant for us just to apply for license and registration. If you click on it, you will just get proceeded for your licensing and registration process. So again, you can just find out the documents required for obtaining a license and registration. If you click on it, you will find the list of documents required for obtaining a license and registration. So if you now just click on the apply license and registration, you will again find 3 tabs, out of which red tab you have to utilize for applying for new license and registration. So again, if you just click on it, you will be able to see a portal where you will be get asked where your business is going to reside or what is your location. So you need to select the state, then you need to select the type of business. In our case, it will be obviously a general manufacturing business. So you can just enlarge the view of that tab and you can just find out what type of category it comes, like what is your business category, whether it is coming less than 12 lakhs or whether it is exceeding 12 lakh turnover. So if you click on any of them, you will be automatically redirected and you will be able to see the eligibility. So if you select on less than 12 lakh, it is showing you need to obtain a registration certificate for your food business. So if you click on this, click here to apply, you will get led to the form A, which is meant for obtaining a registration certificate. So again, you have to fill all the details given in this form, and eventually after paying the prerequisite fee, that is 100 rupees, you can obtain a registration certificate for your food business. You can select the product name and the product categories, the list of products that you are going to manufacture out of the raw material. And then if you again go and change the selection of your business category, again if you just select the location, the state where your business is going to reside, and again if you change the turnover or maybe the kind of business what you are thinking, if you select it, now it is reflecting you need to obtain state license for your food business. So again, as I already mentioned, you need to fill form B. So again, you have to fill the details like premises details, product selection you have to make, you have to give communication details, then whatever required documents you are able to see at the bottom, like documents required for license. From there, you can just find out the list of documents. So again, if you click on it, a PDF will reflect the list of documents required for your food businesses. Like for general manufacturing, packers, repackers, relabelers, all food businesses will get covered up over there. So this is where this list you need to utilize for uploading the documents for obtaining your license. Then you can make a payment of a prerequisite amount based on how many years you want to have a validity for your license. If you want to have a validity for uh, maybe 1 year, it will be 100 rupees for registration and 3000 rupees for license. If it is like um, it will get exceeded, like you will be able to only apply up to, or the validity you will be able to apply only up to 5 years, not exceeding 5 years. So this is all from my side. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir, for such a wonderful presentation. I hope everyone understand how to register for the SSI license and everything. So I hope participants might have got clarity about all their doubts and they understand how to work on the jackfruit and get the business ideas also through this webinar. So thank you all the speakers and participants for joining the session. I hope from this webinar you get the valuable knowledge. On behalf of Nifton, Thanjavur and PMFME team, I formally announce that the webinar is over. Thank you all for joining with us. Thank you so much.